Hello.
No, I got distracted every time we take a break. I go back to watching Taskmaster.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, new season. A bunch of new seasons came out for shows that I didn't realize. I didn't realize Archer had a new season. Didn't realize Lower Decks had a new season. Didn't know Taskmaster had a new season.
You watched like 50 seconds of it?
We've been gone for longer than that. I watched the end of one episode, started the next episode.
Oh, well, I'm back.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. All right.
And yes, I would have watched 50 seconds of Taskmaster. It's a good show.
Even in small chunks. Okay. So, you all reconvene at Shalon Saldra. The rest of you, those of you who are not Anushka, have spent a few days here now waiting for her return. Although, I guess to be fair, there's no reason why you would necessarily have to wait on her return to do what you came here to do, which is to investigate, to see if you can find anything, any information about these necromancer trappings, right?
Right, and to report this to the church so they know what's going on right under their noses.
Okay. All right. Well, Connor, because you are a man of station, you should not have trouble gaining an audience with a high-ranking member of the Church of Salumer. And you are permitted audience, although they appear to be quite busy, so you might have to wait a day before you have an opportunity to speak with a, let's see, probably a bishop, I think, is who could make time for you. Just still pretty high up the chain, all things considered.
Well, we have days to kill, so it's fine.
Yeah. Okay, but yes, you will be granted an audience before Anushka returns. So, you will go to see the bishop, who is a, let's see. We haven't had a rat bishop, so he is a rat. We'll call him a rat named Clemens. Bishop Clemens.
I assume he's ordained, so his proper title will be Father Clemens.
Father Clemens. Yep. I'll defer to you on this one. And I guess, I don't know, maybe you guys can help me out here. And the archbishop, because a bishop is basically the head religious figure in a basilica or a cathedral or something. But the archbishop is sort of like the head of that whole, of like a region or a nation's, they're like the religious leader for a nation, correct? Does that mean that they still would also be in charge of a place, or would they have bishops working directly under them in the same location? Maybe that's a big question. I don't know. It's a question for, I'm sure Rafferty would jump in on, but it looks like he stepped away.
Before I was deconverted, I was a Protestant, so I wouldn't know all this Catholic stuff.
Well, it is a fantasy.
It is a fantasy.
But no, you probably wouldn't meet with a bishop, because bishops preside over a whole bishopric, and or a city, like a metropolitan. And unless, I mean, like I thought I saw some necromancy. Who are you? I'm a lord. Okay, you're a lord. Will entertain you, so we'll have you speak to a father or a priest, who will then listen to your claim, and you'll say, yeah, I got this off of somebody. It's a vial of green liquid and here's a brass ring. And if you plead your case, they would probably say, like, okay, this is weird. You could say, by the way, I'm also Connor, hero of the realm. Here's my bona fides. Here's a letter of recommendation that says I went and broke up a necromancy ring. Where was it? Near Honnet?
Also,
Yeah, I think so.
quick interjection. A bishop wouldn't be father; it would be your excellency.
Right.
Good to know.
That's why I suggested that you would probably meet with somebody else. I mean, like, you would wander up and they would say, who are you? And you would say, I'm some crazy drunk bum off the street who sees spirits whenever I close my eyes. And they would send you away. No, you're not that. You know, you're somebody who has, you know, I mean, genuine bona fides here. So, yeah. So, I mean, the question is how much of an audience could you get and how well and how fast? That would be my question. He's got all the credentials. He knows what necromancy is. Did you keep your mystic necromancy?
I don't think I did.
Okay, so you wouldn't know the right words, but you know, like we were recognized by an authority that you actually defeated that magical ring, right?
Right.
The tick thing?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what I would suggest. Like when Connor shows up and says, I have evidence of necromancy in the high echelons of Conscient, I think people would take him seriously.
Yeah. Okay.
But whether he would meet directly with, he wouldn't meet directly with the bishop, but he would meet with somebody else who then might actually give him audience with the bishop if they're treating this thing as seriously as they are. I mean,
and we do have bona fide necromancer's trappings that I'm sure even
he
a
shows up.
father would recognize.
Wait, didn't
Look
we
at
get
all
rid
this
of that?
crap. Yeah, I think they would. I think they might give him audience.
No, I mean the necromancer's trappings. I'm pretty sure that Willie destroyed it, threw it in a river.
Yeah.
Didn't he?
Oh
Yeah,
no, we
but these
got
are
new ones.
these are the trappings you got from the guy you just knocked out in a bar fight.
And yeah, a priest would be Reverend Father.
Reverend Father, yeah.
An
So we'll
ordinary
go with
one
that.
step down would be
Father.
right.
Gotcha. Okay, so Reverend Father Clements is granting you an audience. He begins by saying, firstly, I would inform you that we have had many sightings and reports of unholy occurrences in our proud lands, and that
I'm
we
sure
are
you have.
doing all that we can to look into it. This feels like a very much a bureaucratic sort of he's rubber stamping you. He says, "We'd be very interested to hear what you have to report, Sir Connor, but we assure you that we are already doing all that we can to pursue and to expunge this evil from our lands."
Reverend Father, this is a serious matter. There are necromancers using I'm trying to find the right word out of character. They're using corrupted ticks to spread a disease that causes the dead to rise. We have found evidence of them in Conscient. In fact, one of the very professors of the school had these upon him, and then he would produce a bundle of the trappings and the ring.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Grandmaster, I'm trying to remember his name now, and I had it written down. Vico, Grandmaster Vico, called them the Copper Eye Society after the practice of putting copper coins upon the eyes for the ferryman of death. We have found evidence of their workings in Honnet, in Lake Ob, and in fact there are numerous unholy sites in Calabria that we are pledged to find and eradicate, but our most pressing concern right now is those in our homeland. Indeed, the very, like as I said, the professor at Conscient, and he'll give a description of the professor. We don't know his name, of course.
Yeah, you guys didn't ask before you knocked him out. So yeah. Okay. All right. Um. I would like you to make a roll for me. I would like mind and insight, inquiry. Mind and inquiry, please.
I'm just looking at my sheet. I don't think I have inquiry, but I could throw mind and see if I need my personality.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to want 2 successes on this. Let me throw my personality.
Okay.
Well, there we go.
Nice. Okay, brazen. So I like that we could say like he's trying to say yes, we've heard these reports, but Connor is undeterred. He kind of talks over him. He insists that he, refers to this evidence that Connor has brought. Connor,
They're at your very back door, and how dare you ignore this blatant, and he'll point to the trappings, this blatant misuse of magic in your very presence, under your very noses. Are you blind? Do you not care? He'll be throwing out that kind of shade.
Beautiful. Oh, I love it. As you're doing this, you realize that his eyes keep darting to this ring, and you sense in him fear, perhaps even guilt or shame. There's something about this ring that makes him very uncomfortable. And when you're done, when you give him a moment to respond, he will say, Sir Connor, many of your reports align with those we received from another knight errant, who had similarly traveled to these places, and she spoke of necromantic ticks, and she spoke of these ancient ritual sites. And I promise you that we are doing everything that the Archbishop is doing everything in his power to deal with these incursions. You have nothing to worry about. I am not sure who this individual is of which you describe, and I do not believe that there is any such society operating within learned halls.
They have a secret society meeting at the Familiar Mouse, a tavern in Conscient. You may wish to investigate this further.
And
I do not have such authority.
Did you witness this meeting? From the
I
sounds of your
witnessed this
description,
man with the trappings going for the meeting. Of course, I could not do the work of the Church of Solmer. I am but a knight of the realm. I am not a priest or a bishop. I cannot do such things.
I'll admit that this is some of these items that you have brought me are unquestionably unholy in origin, and whoever this individual was can be assured that we will find him and that we will punish him accordingly for owning such heretical knowledge and items. This ring, however, seems mundane. I've never come and I would say that inferring that a group of people, a conspiracy, this is quite a large accusation that you level.
Are you trying to protect these people? This is a very important matter.
And I could not agree more. And it is being handled.
You will do well not to ignore this secret society. Unless you are trying to throw me off their trail. Why would you do such a thing?
Now you are accusing... I represent the Holy Father. Now you are accusing the Church of wrongdoing, and that is a very dangerous thing, Sir Connor. I would caution you to mind what you are saying.
I would caution you to not ignore such blatant evidence of wrongdoings in your cities. and especially in a city of learning such as Conscient, where the very professors feel safe in dabbling in the dark arts. And you are telling me to ignore it. Can you not see how this would be suspicious?
He's going to pick up the ring. He'll take the trapping. He's going to pick up the ring, and he looks at it, and he puts the trappings in a pile on his desk, trying not to like touch them overly much, as if they're dirty or contaminated with something. The ring he's going to put into his pocket, and then he looks at you and he says, I thank you for your work, and I simply caution you. Many good men have been corrupted by the darkness, and you have done much for us already. I would hate to see you be tainted in such a way. This is truly a matter to be handled by the inquisitors and the witch hunters that we employ here. So, I do not mean any disrespect to you or your station, Sir Connor. I am very busy, however, and I believe that this is all the time that I have to spend on this matter. I can assure you that we will look into it, this individual and any society that he may be a.
That is all I ask.
Yes, well, good day to you, sir.
And good day to you.
You can feel his eyes on your back as you leave his chambers. But yeah. So that's where we're at. You no longer have the necromantic trappings. Although I'm going to assume that anything that the doctor had in his possession, he still has.
Right.
Mostly just out of deference to Griffin. I feel like if he was here, it would have been a good opportunity to show this stuff as well, but also it might have been a different circumstance. So,
yeah, after what just happened, he might not trust this guy. But I can't speak for him, of course.
Right. So, but you've turned over the pendant. You've turned over the effects of this guy, including this ring, and you come away probably with more questions than you arrived with.
Indeed. Is Griffin still listening? Because
no, I'm pretty sure he left already.
He's on the road.
I assume so. He's not logged into Discord either. So, and he said he would probably be leaving halfway through the game, even if he was here. So I assume that means that he's off on his trip. Yeah,
but we'll catch him up and get his take on that as well.
Yes, unlike when I was away, there are VODs of this one. I don't come back to my hotel room and realize, oh god, I'll never know what happened after I left.
Okay, so I will say that Connor, you return, and I want to get the party back together. We're coming up to the end of our session. We still have some time though, so if there's anything you guys would like to do in, like, let's say the 3 days or so before Anushka rejoins us in Shalon, you let me know.
I mean, you guys got money to spend, but I don't think you guys have any gear that you want to buy.
I don't really use gear.
You replaced your fencing sword, right, Connor?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've got aluminum armor, so I don't know what else would you want.
I use my
Connor's
fists.
all good for shopping, so he's just gonna spend this time relaxing and maybe sparring with his irregulars, just so they have, some action.
Hey, why don't we spar?
So no one comes to arrest you. That's a good sign. Meanwhile, I'm traveling rapidly to get back here to outrace any arrest warrants for my or your, for me or you. So that's just me, like, got to go farther, just a little more beyond the horizon. Meanwhile, what to do? No, my lord, go fish.
Yeah, basically. Oh, I love it.
That's my job. I serve with joy.
So I love the idea that Anushka arrives and finds you, and bursts into the door looking just ragged. And the rest of you are sort of like, "Oh, hey, you made good time."
Dire news, dire indeed.
Please tell us.
Oh, I need a drink first.
The Cubbies
Do
won
you
the
want the
bandit.
big glass or the regular glass?
First one, then the other.
Drop one in the other.
Yes. Well, I hardly closed my mouth all the way here because I'm a bat. I echolocate. See, never mind. No
E-books
time to
anyway.
explain this to you. Yeah, but yes. Okay, so, well, the bent nail was apparently a plant because I went into a tavern where there was nobody there except a guy armed with a loaded crossbow that he keeps under the table at all times.
And he's been waiting for you?
He's been waiting for you
Oh,
because he got me, but I don't think they want me. I think they wanted you. If they wanted me, I'm amazed because I'm nobody. But yeah, they were waiting there for me. And as soon as I turned over the letter, they attempted to arrest me on charges of sedition. Because apparently Ludovico is an agent. What? Now, he specifically said he was arresting me in someone's authority. Whose authority did he quote again?
My
So,
family's.
so to be clear, there were two people in the
Right.
bar. I
And
probably did a
exactly
bad
two.
job of describing this. Exactly two. There was Ludovico, who was just sweeping the floor, and there was this old sailor guy. The old sailor guy revealed himself to be a member of the Fermarouge Constabulary police
Right.
force.
Right. So he
And
was
that's
arresting
the authority he was
in
using.
the name, right, in the name of the mayor, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. And they were their only job was to wait for me because you don't have an empty tavern if you have any real business, and you especially don't have one guy sitting there with a crossbow all day. So apparently it was a plant waiting for us. And
Unless Ludovico himself is part of some sort of conspiracy, and he's plea bargained to turn in anybody.
oh no, that makes sense to me. I mean, he might be, or he might be coerced or maybe part of it. But anyway, it was just a plot because I never read the letter. As soon as I handed it over, they attempted to arrest me. So, you've got enemies. So how did your negotiations with the church go to investigate the obvious necro conspiracy?
I mean, to clarify that Connor may not have enemies. That whoever showed up with the letter was going to get arrested, not specifically Connor.
That might be true. That's really weird. Because why would they give me, a random messenger, the letter and tell me I'm going to get arrested?
Maybe they know that people are getting arrested. Maybe this is their attempt to cast a wide net and find out what's happening.
Maybe they wanted to know where you got the letter from.
It's very expensive to keep a bar open for just that purpose.
These are the people that hired Harmon at 60 dinar a day. So
yeah, no, they've got deep pockets. They've got influence. Yeah, how goes your investigation of the obvious apostasy that's going on within the high echelons of government?
I believe the corruption runs deep. The Reverend Father, what's his name? Clements seems to be in on it. He tried to steer me away from investigating the Copper Eye Society.
He refused audience over what is obviously. That's why I said we should go to Triskellion for this or go somewhere else. One of the purposes of keeping the paladin orders separate from the cities and such is so they wouldn't be as easily influenced. But this, of course, is the side effect that they're in the middle of freaking nowhere.
Well, again, they hate us there, they like us here.
Well, Ardent isn't too far from here. And that's where the Ardentines are.
Yes, that's
I mean,
true.
as long as it's over here. I'm just saying, Triskellion specifically do not like
Yeah,
this.
so I'm saying, like, yeah, if you're saying, but we're not, we don't have that many allies just Triskellion, I would agree. That's why I think Ardent is probably our next bet to go to. And even if they don't help us in Ardent, that's on our way to the next, like, repository of evil.
Yeah. Maybe we just aimed too high, The second largest church is also the second largest bureaucracy.
Well, I think it's a little weird that they just blew you off like that. I mean, you're not nobody, you're Connor. You're a blooded and a proven hero. So the fact that they blew you off is a little weird. Oh, sorry, and you're well spoken. It's not like you walked in there and started blathering stuff. I've heard you speak. You're an excellent rhetorician.
I mean, he didn't do it this time, but I'm always reminded of Arkloyd's penchant for including one final detail to a negotiation that ruins it all.
Yep.
So,
I've been trying to avoid doing
sure.
that in all my dealings afterwards.
Yep. No, it's weird that they would blow you off. I would think they would at least entertain you, or like, I would think they would at least give you a plausible lie, which is one of my favorite. Where they would just say, "Oh yeah, sure, we'll look into it. It's fine," and just tell you to go. No, they actually actively blew you off and told you to shut the hell up. Which implies to me they're really sure of it. So yeah, I would go stop at Ardent, and I guess my suggestion is our next step should be to go to Ardent, and then our next step here should be to go to the circle. Has Mercurio figured out who he is yet?
Not yet, no. You were gonna hang out in, he had a meeting to meet with somebody in Conscient, but then you guys blew that off when you knocked a dude out and then ran.
Well, this was kind of urgent, yeah. And my only...
Sorry to interrupt, I've just made a casual observation here that the only places with these necromantic symbols are locations where Salamar is the dominant religion.
Well, they're the ones we know about. If there's some...
I'm just saying, I don't see anything in the Phelan territories.
Well, no one told us about those.
Well, I mean...
they don't speak Calabrese up there. How would we know?
I'm just saying that maybe this is a church-level conspiracy.
Well,
there is one circle in the Rothus Mountains.
That's Doloro.
Hmm.
Which, again, I guess is... Well, no, because there is a church presence in Doloro's land for that weird mixed religion.
Yeah, and those are the four that that we know about. If there was one up here, how would we ever know about it?
We talked to the Phelan already. If they knew about it and we got it on their good side, they might have, mentioned something.
Right. But I mean, like this is like literally nowhere. You're at, like there's no traffic going on.
In the details of the information that we do know,
yeah,
there are only these symbols in the Salamar religious territory, which means
there could be more we don't know about. So
I'm just saying that combined with the knowledge that the church is actively blowing you off and telling you to shut the hell up, that maybe this is a church-level conspiracy.
Well, that's why I would suggest the next thing to look into would be the Ardentines, who are, specifically outside the political function. And also, it's on our way to a big circle. So we haven't figured out where Mercurio is yet. I can't help but notice, after hanging around with him for a long period of time, what kind of accent does Mercurio have when he speaks?
If you were to place it, probably a Triskellion accent. It's part of the reason why they suggested you go down to Triskellion to try to jog his memory.
Right. So he's got a Triskellion accent. And he's a gray fox, which I think most of you are aware that the gray fox is the lineage of the Rinaldi, right?
Right.
So he's lost his memory, and there's a non-zero chance that he might actually be blooded Rinaldi royalty.
I mean, gray foxes are also Jakobas, aren't they?
Yep.
Yeah, the Rinaldi family are gray foxes.
But so are the Jakobas.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
But he doesn't have a Jacobin accent. He has a Triskellion accent.
Well, what's that thing where you get knocked around a bit too hard and you suddenly come up with a language that you didn't have before?
With the new personality, right? Yeah.
I mean, it is a real thing apparently too. So
I don't know if I believe that.
Yeah, it's just this is my trick to cheat on my wife.
There you go.
I suddenly learned Italian and moved over the seas.
I'm just kind of pointing that out there that Vaslov is only the heir to the throne by marriage, not because he's a stepbrother, he's a stepchild, not blooded. If this guy here, man, is blooded, he might have a more legitimate claim to the throne than Vaslov, who,
No,
from
I
outside.
was figuring that Anushka might know Old Town accent from New Town accent. Because, in England, if you go 30 feet one way or another, you're going to find a different accent. And people know one from the other.
You mean like a posh accent? Oh, yeah. Well, people would speak differently if they were finished, as in they went to finishing school. Like Connor speaks differently than Dan does, speaks differently the way I do.
Yeah, I got a Fanon accent.
Right. And yes, I do have geography and cosmopolitan, the two gifts necessary to recognize this kind of crap.
Yeah, he does
so
have...
Does Mercurio talk like he's been educated, or does he talk like a commoner?
He does speak like he's been educated, and you do realize that like a lot of his mannerisms feel like someone who knows noble performance, noble etiquette.
I mean, he has all the signs of being someone, and one of the problems is that if he actually is of the noble line, Vaslov would not want him to exist.
No.
It could be that the very amnesia that has struck him is actually what's keeping him safe. Because if he doesn't admit to being royalty, then he's not a threat, is he?
Oh, of course, he's always a threat.
Okay, well, his very existence is a threat, yeah.
I mean, you don't let the child of the guy you just killed live because he's just going to grow up with a vendetta.
Let me rephrase this. Mercurio may have lost his memory because that's actually keeping him safe.
Unfortunately, the wording of the goal is to help him recover his lost memory, not have him be satisfied with the life he now has or give him new memories.
Well, people need to rise to their office of responsibility. One must know no fear and serve, Joy.
Well, unless you are correct and he has royal blood flowing through him, in which case he serves nobody.
All the more reason to restore his lost memory.
Aren't you seditious?
Aren't you a criminal?
No.
You beat up a guy in a bar and then it was an accessory to robbing him.
Okay, look, I'm wanted in a couple of places, but I'm not wanted in a lot more.
Hey, by that logic.
Those are places you just haven't been yet.
Correct.
Yep.
I'm just saying that to your down with the monarchy ideology, wouldn't it be better not to restore his memory?
No, because I'd rather disrupt the monarchy.
Besides, he would assume power.
Besides, Mercurio, after spending all of these weeks living as a commoner, might willingly abdicate now that he's been educated to our plate.
Well, that assumes that he'll keep the memories he's gained now and not lose them when he gets his old memories.
Well, we won't know. He's a better bet than Vaslov. I will get more out of Mercurio than I will get out of Vaslov.
I don't know. Vaslov doesn't know I exist. Mercurio knows who I am.
Well, pretty soon Della Vega is going to know you exist, and your life's going to be hell. So anyway, that is my proposal, that we should go to Ardent and then go to the next circle. That would be, I think, our next course of action. Eventually, we might have to get back to Triskellion and try and restore Mercurio if we could find someone to recognize.
Would it be faster to take a boat to Ardent or to go by land?
Ardent, no, because we would have to go upriver. So it would be much faster to go by land. We have to go downriver and then upriver.
Stop off at.
Is it upriver at Ardent? Wouldn't it just be downriver and then? No, and then downriver. Oh, sorry. Yeah, never mind. From the sea is down upriver. Yeah. Got it.
Yeah, the rivers flow towards the sea.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how they work in your homeland, but here they flow towards the sea.
Well, I grew up on the sea itself, so I didn't have to deal with this shit.
You grew up on the sea.
I grew up on a sea town.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense.
So boats came to us. There was no rivers or anything. I had to deal with waves and not currents. Shit, now I'm forgetting. Tides. Tides.
That's that sea boy in you. Yep. Which is weird because every time I advocate going on the open sea, you've turned me down.
Because every time you've advocated it, it was a dumb idea.
See, this is why I said Connor should do all the talking.
Well, it's not my fault that nobody can handle a pragmatic.
Well, I mean, I think we would all be in agreement that since you got blown off here, and thank you for waiting for me, that heading to Ardent would be the best bet. Do we have enemies in Enclume?
Yes.
Yes.
Connor,
Okay.
Yeah, there's a family feud.
They kidnapped Connor out of character. They kidnapped
Okay.
Connor's brother, remember?
So I would suggest we should go around. If we went we'd be near Enclume if we went this way. But if you want to go around it, I would also understand that. I mean, we've got an entourage flying colors. They would find you.
There's no such thing. I'm sorry, my brain just exploded for a second. There's no such... What do you call the things? The two-wheeled vehicles, somebody picks up the two arms and you sit in the back. Rickshaw. There's no such thing as an air rickshaw in this game. Or in the setting.
The critters would have to be so muscular that they would.
Well, I'm not talking about one. I'm talking about you like four guys each holding one. What's the other version?
Palanquin, right?
Yeah, like an air palanquin.
That is actually really cool.
A palanquin is when it hangs down and you have
you have four
people.
Yeah,
there's also a kage there's also a kago where it's a litter and you have two people on each end and they carry you up high.
Right.
So those same things. Multiple people holding, say, with their feet and flying.
The problem with that is that would be extremely difficult to coordinate because all four of the people carrying you have to be constantly at the exact same height. Because if they're not,
I mean, what you're saying then is this is a rich man's game. I specially trained this group of people. I bought them from the circus.
What would make more sense would be to have a hot air balloon that is being drawn by.
But when did those get invented?
About 50 years.
Right. I'm trying
possibly sooner.
Any idea I try to think of in terms of manpower because that seems to be the simplest way it's ever going to be seen.
Well, there are kites in Zhonggao, but they're not good for long distance.
Yeah. I could see if you had, maybe if it was not connected, if it wasn't just poles that the flyers were carrying, but there were, ropes, and they were flying far enough apart, it could average it out.
You'd be asking a lot. All of them would have... one of the problems with flying is that you've seen birds when they fly. They don't fly straight. They go up and down because the air...
So what we do is we attach these ropes to a strong basket, and we fill the basket with cushions, pillows, things like that, and then we tie it over onto a top basket so you can't fall out. So you'll just be bouncing around in a cushioned
tumbler.
Cushioned basket, yeah.
Yeah, I really think if you're going that far, I really think the lighter than air balloon is a much better bet.
Right, but what do we fill this balloon with that will make it rise above the ground?
Well, an air elemental would be my first guess. An air and fire elemental would be my second guess.
Oh god, but we've only encountered 2 of those in the entire time that we've been playing this game.
Well, that's something from Mad Inventing. What I am thinking is
this is very much in the Da Vinci Book of Mysteries.
So I think we're going to travel south, dreadfully close to Enclume, and hope maybe we can travel fast enough to evade. We are on foot and not on wagons, so we're not beholden to roads.
Well, if we're avoiding water travel, then we can go wide around a Clume with no problem. We'll just be adding 1, 2, 3, 4 days to our travel.
Excuse me, that takes more time. And the issue I'm worried about is even though you have enemies in Clume, you also have enemies in Firma Rouge. They may have started putting out...
I don't think that Connor has enemies in Firma Rouge. I think whatever you encountered was specifically tied to the letter, not Connor. Connor's family stood up to both the Rinaldi Jakoba and the people of Inclume to defend him.
Then there we go. Then we just travel on foot. It'll be about 4 or 5, probably more than 5 days because we've got rough travel over poor, non-existent roads.
I don't think that we have a time problem, though. We're not racing a clock, right?
True. There's nothing that's time sensitive right now.
The more time we spend in this domain, the greater the odds are that someone shows up to counter grief.
Right. I just mean that if our enemies are on the level of, say, the church, or if they're organized and well-developed and everything like that, like if this is a rich man's organization on the highest tiers, then we don't have any real options of outmaneuvering them.
But that I meant the longer it takes us, the more chance they are to run.
Right, I'm just saying that really there's nothing we can do. They're going to catch us or they're not going to catch us.
Well, I know no fear.
I am the greatest.
Say, my impression of the situation is it's probably keeping a low profile is a better... Like, if you're saying the more time that you're on the road, the higher the chances that you're going to encounter resistance, that's true, but I think a lower profile helps with that.
Well, here's the problem then. A lower profile, if we have colors, then we're Connor and his retinue. If we strike his colors, then we're a roving band of outlaws. Because if people look around and say, hey, look, it's an armed mob of 12 people with no insignia or color.
I'm going to say something that's going to sound crazy here. What if we don't take the irregulars with us?
Right. I mean, that would be the other thing we would have to ditch.
And in which case, we're just 3 or 4 guys.
Well,
5 guys.
Then we're just a gang.
No, 4 guys. No, 5 guys. 5 guys, Potter.
Right. Then we're just a gang of 5 dudes.
6 guys, Mercutio. I'm trying to remember who's alive and who's died.
I know, right?
And don't forget the doctor.
No, I included him. 4 base, then Potter, and then Mercutio.
Right.
6.
I mean, if we fly colors, we enjoy Connor's lawfulness, but they might, if they're after Connor, they might give him grief. If we strike our colors, people could just show up and attack us and murder us and say, they didn't have any colors, sir. We didn't know. Ooh, aluminum armor. I'm set for life.
Then we just
what do you think, Connor?
Stick to back roads.
It sounds like you guys are set on taking the way around Enclume.
Let's go around the rivers, and we'll risk going closer to Firma Rouge. They may have just been after the bearer of the letter, but they may also be after me. It's difficult to say. It wasn't specified who was after whom.
Yeah. So the other question is, do you want to strike your colors and go anonymously, or keep them and gain the benefits that people will afford you, basically not have less chance of being attacked by roving beggars and vagabonds because they know that you're somebody?
I'd rather fly colors. It might be risky, but it's less risky than not.
Okay. Okay. There we go. So we got 10 minutes left. So let's end it there. That you guys have a plan. We know what we're doing next time. Do we know if Griff is going to be with us next time, or is he still going to be away?
Still going to be away.
Okay. So we're going to end the session for today the way we do every day. Well, every session anyway, which is we're going to once again go over any goals that we completed and then reiterate our characters and their So let's start with goals, though, because I think you guys did technically complete a goal. You did deliver the letter.
We did. Finally.
Right. So, and once again, I'm going to ask for maybe a little bit of help on what you guys think a good and appropriate gift for that would be. You found out that the person on the other end of the letter wasn't really a friend. I don't think local knowledge or insider would necessarily be useful here.
Well, I would think local knowledge of inner Avoirdupois domain might be appropriate since we spent a lot of time in it.
You did trek across all the hell over it. So if that's a small enough demographic, then I would offer that.
Sorry, all I heard was sold back.
Yeah, but most of you, probably including me, are going to sell that back.
And that's fine too. I mean, honestly, my thoughts are like local knowledge for such a large territory that you guys spend a lot of time in feels like a very powerful one. But that's just to me. I also don't have a character build that I'm gunning for, so it's really up to you.
We're probably all going to sell that back. And I meant I meant not the city. I meant just the farmland.
Yeah, the farmlands. So just to clarify, it would be, where's my freehand drawing tool?
Inner Avoirdupois suburbs.
Suburbs, there you go. So it would be kind of like this region of the
Avoirdupois territory. We're all selling it back.
If everyone's selling it back, then I guess it really doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we all want the 5 experience points. Once again, that's the way these were set up, was so that the GM could give us stuff that you would never buy.
Right. Okay. So.
And I think that's the only goal we accomplished.
Yep. I mean, you guys did do some investigation, kind of, but you still have not uncovered the secrets of the Copper Eye Society. And,
it's on my list. A bunch of jerks. We tried to, and the church stopped us. It's like, wow, that was news. And I mean, the other thing to do would be to blow this all off and go back north and try to get to Conscience to get Alafina. We could try to write to Alafina and have them rendezvous with us somewhere, but in order to get that to work, we'd have to pay them. But that's something for next session because we're running out of time.
Oh, did we discover the secrets of the Copper Eye Society?
We did not.
That they're necromancers isn't a secret.
I think we need more
secrets. Yeah. There's more going on there.
Man, how many secrets do they have? If I put this into a computer program? Yeah. How many tick marks do I need to get?
The achievement didn't get added to your trophy list. So
right.
I would say, yeah.
If there was a progress bar, you're like a third of the way through progress.
So 3 secrets. They have 3 secrets.
At least. Maybe they have 6. We discovered 2 of their secrets.
Oh man, they're so secret I don't even know what they are yet.
I'm Anushka. My motto is no fear and surf with joy. Something I like to quote out loud a lot.
It's a good one, and you make good use of it. How about Ark?
I am Arkla. I play Connor Leverdac Revis. His motto is one hand washes the other.
And we got Theta.
Dan, the Lemur Brute. I am the greatest.
That Dan is cool. Okay. Any other general feedback from the session during our debrief?
I had fun. I've also been receiving some meds for ADHD, and I think it's been helping me concentrate during the sessions. If you've noticed, I'm not asking so much information as we go through.
You're always pretty, easygoing.
Yeah, no, I think everyone, and I realize there's a lot of talking in this game, and there's a lot of one-on-one conversation, and I wouldn't blame anyone for tuning out when your character's not immediately involved.
Well, I don't tune out. I forget.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think everyone's given a lot to the game. I appreciate that.
I mean, maybe it's the rarefied taste. That's the kind of thing I enjoy, where it feels like there's a world and there's moving parts and stuff we do matters, especially when discretion that we do matters. That's usually a big You can hear it in the notes of the Aleph podcast. That's a big issue I have where it's like, where it's Grand Theft Auto and we can, blow up cars and convenience stores and everything's fine by the time we take the next quest and nothing matters. And I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
God.
I like
Dan
that
got
the world revolves around itself rather than us.
Mm-hmm.
We should be a part of the world, which is why I'm glad we get to reach out to authority figures, and sometimes they help us. I've been in a lot of games where some GMs will just say like, well, no authority figure can help you. You have to solve all of this yourself. And that usually, makes me feel like, really? Us? Commander Shepard? I have to stop the whole zombie invasion? No one's going to stop it? I have to go on this mission? I thought I was a commander. It told me, moving on.
Yep. I command 5 weird aliens. You have an entire army.
Yeah.
Why am I solving this problem?
Sometimes the authority figures with. So in other words, it has to feel real that if we got a meeting with a bishop and a bishop blew you off, hopefully that is, we're on the right track here where okay, a bishop blew us off. That must mean that somehow this is politically motivated to keep us out and not just, blowing off players because, players have to solve everything by killing it.
Yeah, there is a definite reason that the bishop did what he did rather than it just being, it's your job to do it,
Yeah. So.
But that only works if you have players who will appreciate that and pivot. Like you guys were like, okay, this is kind of a dead end, but we should go talk to these guys over here. Like there's other ways forward in this circumstance.
Right.
And you got to be willing to.
Well, we can be reasonable people. We bought social skill, so we can do that.
Yeah.
So, if we find out that, social skills are worthless, we can go back to murder.
And I'm trying very hard to make sure that social skills are not worthless. I like to have a balance of murder and social stuff.
I like to avoid murder when I can.
I'm sorry. Nobody here commits murder. We commit justice.
Commit justice.
I've got a good character for both murder and social, so I'm happy.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm enjoying this dynamic where we all sit there. It's like we all guard and say you really don't want to start this, and then they start it. It's like, okay.
Okay. Well, my conscience is clean.
Oh, we told you not to do this, and you did it anyway. So now I have to blow your head off with a gun. Especially after and of course at some point we have Chicken the Good Doctor, who's probably very upset that their very good friend died in the most unimaginably horrible way. Why am I laughing?
Oh, Lale. Yeah.
It's not just agony, it's mass agony.
Mass agony. Yep. Well, okay. I think again, just for the sake of everyone watching the stream, it's 1 experience point for the debrief and for coming to play. It's an experience point for playing your character's mottos, which at this point you guys have them down like clockwork. I think you're all doing an awesome job there. And it sounds like everyone traded back the gift of local knowledge for Avoirdupois lands. And so everyone's got 5 XP for that as well. And we're out of time, so and we don't have Griff to give us our cool sign off. But I will start by saying, sorry, Data?
Oh, I was gonna say, subscribe to the channel, buy the plushies, all that other weird stuff that Griff says for no reason that doesn't actually exist in our monetary scheme of not making any money. We're here on.
We don't have plushies.
Yeah, well, we don't have plushies. I don't know.
Oh.
I didn't take Arcloid's measurements to make a plushie out of them, so I don't think anyone's doing that anytime soon. I didn't mean that directed at you, Arcloid. I meant for anybody.
Wow.
No one's
I
coming
can
in.
imagine me, Damakura, or whatever the hell they call those.
I mean, personally, I'd love it to reach a point in the channel where people want to buy plushies of us. It'd be weird, but it would also be great.
Yeah, weird but great.
But yeah, no, we stream games twice a week, and we also have a bi-weekly podcast, Notes from the Aleph. Come see us here on Wednesdays mornings for Ironclaw. We have Fallout coming up next week. Unfortunately, not today.
Okay.
In the evenings, we have Pathfinder. On Sundays, we are going to be having Traveler come up, Mongoose First Edition, and then we also have D&D 5th Edition.
Awesome. If you want to book me for a game, I do professional GMing, and you can find me at startplaying.games/GM/RedRabbit. And
I'm Norman Rafferty, and I have to get back to work on the Ironclaw Book of Corals, which is the next big book that's coming out. So real soon now, folks.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait either.
All right. Well, I had a blast, guys, and I look forward to next week.
Thank
Take
you
it
for running
easy.
the game. I had a good time.